For all his analysis and all those headlines, the National Party's move perhaps to net zero, and a big defeat for Angus Taylor on the floor of the Senate, I'm joined from Brisbane by the host of Hardgrave here on Sky News, former Howard Government Minister as well, Gary Hardgrave. Gary, I'll put all of this to Bridget McKenzie a little later on the show, but I'm interested in your views. What's the point of resurrecting Barnaby Joyce if the Nats are just going to wave through net zero? That's what's being put around today. I don't buy it. What do you think?
Look, I think it's an opportunity for the government to rejig, refocus and reword what this whole net zero thing means. I mean, I'm 100% on the view that we don't really know the detail of it. And now when you start to hear that there's been some unofficial cabinet work being done on a potential nuclear industry, now we start to get a bit of shape around it. You see, Peter, I actually think the next federal election is going to be fought on the premise of national sovereignty. I mean, who do you trust to actually keep this country independent, free and able to stand on its own 2 feet? We've got to try and get our manufacturing industry going. China has killed that off by pricing us out of existence. Agriculture, well, China owns so much of the water, so much of the agricultural production sector. They're now trying to beggar up our Great Barrier Reef tourism by this UNESCO claim about the reef. They've got control of our economy because, frankly, our coal and iron ore industries are underpinning the whole viability of our national figures. So, you know, Peter, there's a lot of reasons why we've got to get some new thinking and some bold thinking. And Labor are completely caught up in 19th century logic. They're still not sure about what they want to do about coal. They think, well, I believe coal's important. I don't want a coal-fired power station in my suburb either. So, you know, a nuclear one, I think, is a worthwhile debate. And I think that the government now is starting to expose Labor's complete kind of dead hand on all this. They just don't know what they're doing.
I think China, Gary, is a game changer. I mean, a Lowy poll out there today says 84% of Australians say they don't trust China to act responsibly in the world. I mean, that's a huge change from where it has been. And I think people understand we need, energy for jobs. We need to have a manufacturing capacity, a sovereign manufacturing capacity in Australia. This is the least time in our history in recent years that we would want to make ourselves economically or national security vulnerable at the next election. I think that's the card that the government should be playing. Interestingly, this issue with ARENA, ARENA's got a pot of money to spend about low emissions technologies. The government wanted to move in some additional areas beyond just straight renewables. Labor and the Greens blocked this move. The government wanted to move into hydrogen and carbon capture and storage. I think this is crazy. But this is where the vote went today. Pauline Hanson, she was surprisingly absent. So the government went down 27-28. Malcolm Roberts, one of her senators, did turn up. Do you think that was deliberate that Pauline was absent?
Oh, look, I don't know. But, I mean, you can ask her and I'm sure she'll let you know. You go for, cock up over conspiracy most times in these things, Peter, as you know. But look, right. I think it's pretty well reasonable that this 2050 target, whatever it means, I'm going to be hanging around to find out myself what it means, all right? So I'll be 90 years of age in 2050 and let's talk about it on the telly, if you know what I mean. But this whole kind of off into the never stuff just plays into the whole scare campaign. This rubbish that we're being fed constantly about climate change, which I think has got a whole lot of hairs attached to it. We know that every time someone talks about subsidising renewables and getting rid of our cheapest energy source, which currently is coal, it may well be uranium, and uranium reactors are not very big. They're not very big physically. Is really playing into the hands of those who want to destabilise our society, destroy our economy and create a kind of serfdom out of each and every one of us. They want us a vassal state, as Bronwyn Bishop always says. She is right. So, Peter, there is reason for the government to say to the energy regulator, can we look at other ways to extend the life of coal? And indeed, I hope that is what happens. But we've got the Australian Energy Regulator this afternoon saying 2040 coal's over. Oh, really? 2040 coal is over? I think we need something a lot less in the crucible of around national circuit in Canberra to decide really the fate of these key industries that generate a lot of electricity. China has got 3,600 power stations, coal-fired power stations. They're not getting rid of any of them anytime soon. We've got 6 and the world apparently wants all of them gone. There's something out of whack here, Peter.
I think we're waking up. Hey, just quickly, news into that the Immigration Minister, Alex Hawke, has granted the Billawheeler family, the Tamil asylum seekers, a 3-month bridging visa. Some of the peanuts out there on radio I heard this afternoon saying, oh, this means they'll stay in Australia. Of course, this is standard operating procedure for a bridging visa while the legalities are still being sorted out, isn't it?
Absolutely. Bridging visas are temporary visas, Peter, and that is to maintain their lawful status. There's nothing to see here. All that Alex Hawke has done is his job. He said we've got to maintain some lawful status. It's reasonable if they can earn a quid. They should go and do it while they're waiting for the court to decide.
Gary Hardgraves, enjoy, well, you'll have no New South Welshman up there for a while. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.